my sweet little darlings. Welcome back to the Red Room with me, MG. Today we're going to be looking at the final album of 2024. This is album number 7 and it's a double album. So this is going to take up 2 videos just so I don't lose your attention. We've got 10 tracks on disc 1 and 10 tracks on disc 2. Now the concept of the album is called the Whit album. Now Whit in Scotland is basically means what or pardon. So when someone says what, it means what was that you said? Can you repeat it please? So it's a little bit of Scottish humour coming in because it's a play on the White Album by the Beatles. So the cover is a completely white album with just a tartan question mark, or plaid question mark as you would say in the United States of craziness. Love you guys. So that's it. It's the White Album, but in Scotland, the Whit album. So let's go and take a little listen to disc 1. Okay, let's go and get stuck into the Whit album side 1. So as you can see here, 20 tracks, and we're only going to cover tracks 1 to 10 from Whit to The Love Again. So Whit is the title track from the album, and like I said, it's a Scottish pardon. So let's give it a little listen.
I said, you there, can you show me the way to the railway station, please? What?
There we go, Whit. So because it's pardon, or excuse me please, can you repeat that? That song's basically about language barriers and understanding people. And I don't mean from one language to another, as in bonjour, what are you talking about? I mean, it's like understanding people and what they're about, and not just looking at people and going, rubbish, scum. You know, walking through a housing estate or scheme and going, you're all shite, because they're not, they're people. That's the kind of concept behind it. And if you're having someone look down on you, it's not a nice thing. So the words for the chorus is, you're never going to understand me if you don't try to hear, there's always going to be a barrier to climb. Don't be an ignorant twat. Everyone's a human being, we're all equal, and never look down on people. So, right, the next song, poignantly, is called Frontiers from Tears, and it's about people having to flee their homelands, and particularly around, countries like Syria, where there's been such fucking awful stuff going on, and families trying to get their kids, parents trying to get their kids out of those countries and ending up, all of them washed up dead on a Turkish beach. It's just awful, and it should never be happening. So this is Frontiers from Tears.
Don't turn the other way, friend, throw me a roll. Oh, come take my hand and pull me to shore. Left my home some days ago. I can return to ashes and smoke. I don't wanna die, it ain't my fault, it's some other guy. I guess, but I'd rather raise my kids in their
I do. I really love that song. Not just because of the theme, but that chorus. Slaves sing a slave's melody is what I'm singing, in case you're wondering. Just what these people have to go through. Horrible. The next song is called Motions, and it's about kind of people kind of stuck in a revolving cycle of life, just going through the same old motions. Breathe the same old air, regurgitated thoughts from nowhere. A path threadbare from repeated use. We stop and stare, expressionless. The guide is gone, imagination slipped away. It's just people who've not given up on life, but are just forgetting that life's to be lived. And that they're just stuck in the same old thing. Get up, have breakfast, read the paper. I'm probably talking about retired people here. Maybe I was fearing my own retirement, which is a long way off now. Last year, it wasn't a long way off, and then my work shafted me out of a lot of money, and now my retirement's a lot further away. Fuckers. So yeah, this is called Motions, and you'll hear instantly it's got a kind of prog rocky sort of Pink Floyd vibe. Every now and then I like to do something with that kind of vibe, and that in particular, this song I think kind of encapsulates what I like about that genre. So this is Motions.
prepare from repeated use. We stop and stare. Expression lost, the guidance gone. Imagination slipped away. All we are is what we and all we know is what we're told.
There we go, Motions. I still really like that. That was a goodie. The next song is one I'm particularly proud of. This was if you watched the last video, Ready Stop Go album, there was a song called Stop. And because the people I was collaborating with on BandLab were busy, so they couldn't hit my deadline, which is absolutely fine. They're doing it for free and I absolutely love them, and thanks for getting involved in this. I'll talk more about them in a second. I had to write another song called Stop for the last album, so this is the one that spilled over into this album. I mean, they're concurrent. When I write these albums, I finish one album and I start straight on the next one. That's just how 2024 went, because I was doing a new album every 6 weeks challenge. So when you're up against the clock, it's amazing what you can pull out the bag. So this song's called Stop Falling in Love, and it features two amazing musicians. Firstly, a guy called Fizz, who very kindly did the saxophone for this. And secondly, a girl called Michelle, who's an incredible singer. She's so talented and she's got such a beautiful jazz voice. And I asked her if she could do the backing vocals for this, because it's a soul song. And it was my first entry into doing a soul song, like a classic, like Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke kind of song. Just because I had an idea for a melody, and I thought, right, and I really wanted to push the boundaries here, and make it sound like classic, almost Motown as well, but slightly modernised. And I needed that kind of gospel soul female backing vocals, and the only person I knew in the world that could pull that off was this girl, Michelle. So if you're on BandLab, go and check out Michelle St. George. She's incredible. So without further ado, this is Stop Falling in Love. Looking both ways, half of you've been hitching for so long. Destinations unknown, I bet my life you can be found anywhere outside of yourself. But I can't help myself. I've gotta stop falling down, falling so I got carried away there. And normally I fade it out before the second verse, but I really liked the getting into it. Like it was almost like James Brown. Like I needed one of my guys to come and put a cape over me. Please let me alone. Oh, I love that song so much. Yeah, and there's even more. Again, it's very James Browny actually. That's probably where my mindset was, and that's a hard one to pull off. Right, the next song is called Waterfalls. Now, what this is about, when I was living in Hong Kong, it's notoriously stormy there. It could be really hot. Wearing one of these shirts, that's you ruined after 10 minutes. This would be soaking wet. Just through sweat from the heat, and then other times it's soaking wet from the bloody rainfall, which is, you've never seen rain like this anywhere in the world, even in Scotland, which is the home of rain. We invented rain. So right behind where I lived, I was in the Northern Territories in a town called Sai Kung, and it's amazing. It's like frontier land. And quite typically Chinese, but still British expaty, and it's an amazing place. I loved living there, and they've got this big pointy hill at the back of it called Pyramid Hill, or that's maybe what we called it. I can't remember what it's called locally, and it's quite high, so you know it's a good couple of hours walk up, and it was a beautiful sunny day when I started. And I just had I'd taken a raincoat because it's Hong Kong. It's like if you leave that throughout that door in Scotland, take a raincoat with you, even if it's sunny. And I got to the top and the fucking heavens opened, but it was lightning. And you're on top of a pointy mountain, and then you have to walk down a bit and then travel all the way back down. But I was at the very top when the lightning started striking. I just lay down to enjoy some sun, and then the clouds came over and went zappity, zappity, zap. And I thought, fucking hell, I'm going to die. The only point in my life, 2 points. I was in a car once with an ex-girlfriend and she was overtaking a truck. Her car wasn't going fast enough and the truck wasn't slowing down. And there was a car coming the other way, and we missed it by that, pulling back over into the lane. And I actually put my hands over my eyes and thought, I'm going to die. And I actually shouted, oh, for fuck's sake. That's what people say when they die. Or when they know they're going to die. Fuck! So there was me at the top of this mountain. I'm going to press pause because the song started, because I've been gibbering for so long. And the lightning started coming down, and it was hitting the ground. I could see it hitting the ground like 100 metres away from me, and I thought, I am going to die. And so I kind of knew what to do in lightning storms, so I just curled myself into a ball. But just before that, I'd ran past a bunch of Cantonese or Chinese guys who had wandered up in a big group, and they were all sheltered under a tree, and I'm running, and they're like, no, don't run out across the open ground. And I'm like, and I turned and went, no, don't stand under a fucking tree. That's the worst place to stand in a lightning storm. And it's like, we all know that, but they didn't. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So I ran, lightning, curled myself up in a ball, and it didn't hit me, obviously, because I'm still here. And then I just kept running down the hill, and the water on the path was so intense, it turned into a waterfall. Hence the title of this song is Waterfalls. So let me just press play and see what you think.
tension grows, entropic gains to a burst of light. There's hairs on every pore, standing to the sky, warning me of things to come. I'm naked and alone, waiting for the end, the polar opposite of fun. Those children in the rain, well, how are they to know? Telling me to huddle close. We all know back home that ain't the place to be. Stay away from the shelter of trees as you strikes the ground right in front of me. I drop and curl to a ball. The silence terrifies, tightening in my eyes, waiting for a sword to fall. Fear rises, running from the gods in the dark light, hiding on the ground. It's a funeral, running across the mountains in the rain. It don't feel right, flashing to the left and the far right, running to the bottom of a hill through waterfalls.
There we go, Waterfalls. It's a really strong chorus, really passionate. You just, you couldn't help but recall the fear and the panic, hence a lot of screaming there. Yeah, so that was Waterfalls. The next song is called I Confess, and it's all the stuff that was happening in my life when my work was a dick to me, and all the plans that I had in place just suddenly were etch-a-sketched out of existence. And it's really a song for my wife, because I'd kind of promised her, you know, this retirement, and these were the things we were going to go and do, and we can't anymore because of the private equity investors that robbed us of our future. And it's basically saying, I confess I don't know how to give you these things I promised. If only my music career would take off. Anyone out there watching? Please, fucking sign me, you bastards. Yeah, so this is called I Confess. There we go, I confess. Yeah, about feeling like a failure. I'm not. It's not my fault. I'm not the arsehole. Bitter. And the next song is called Down the River. Now this is actually an older song. I had a couple of songs that weren't languishing on albums anywhere, and I kind of thought they ought to be. So it was like digging up. I mean, this Down the River's like 10 years old or something. And I wasn't cheating. I could have written another song in that time, but I genuinely thought I want to include this because it was kind of like an introspective of things in my life. And it's kind of bringing together and solidifying of my thoughts, my emotions, and part of it was like there was these poor little straggler songs, and it's like Leave No Man Behind. So that's why I wanted to bring this one back, because I really liked it, and it just wasn't complete. I was never happy with it, and now I am. So I got to a place where I was like really happy with this song. Explicit lyrics. It's basically about a veteran. Thank you for your service. Like a John Rambo kind of character who's just left to float down the river like a turd, a jobby, a shit, cast aside by everyone around him, despite all the things he's been and done for his country. So he's basically a bum, a hobo, and eventually he ends up standing on a bridge ready to jump into the water. And you'll have to listen to the song to see how it ends. This is Down the River. There we go, Down the River. I think it's got a bit of a Stone Temple Pilots kind of vibe going on, which is a good thing, because I love them. Big fan of that band. Right, the next two songs are about a place where I grew up in Edinburgh called Stockbridge, and it's a wonderful place full of artists and poets and musicians and strange characters and heroin addicts, and it's quite a posh place. It wasn't when I was growing up. The bit I stayed in, it's surrounded by the new town of Edinburgh, which is all the big Georgian houses where millionaires live. But this one street called Rayburn Place is just full of beautiful little boutique shops and restaurants and bars and pubs, and it's great. And there's like a chip shop where everyone used to hang outside and just eat chips, fries, fish and chips, that kind of thing. So Stockbridge Girl is about my youth there, and I'd go down to the chip shop, the fry merchant, and there'd be a bunch of girls hanging outside, and you'd be like, hello. But it's like a class divide. There's the kind of scum from the schemes, which wasn't far away. They would come down. They're not scum. They're lovely. And they all kind of wore tracksuits. It's just what you are. With your trackies, your tracky bottoms, your grey Kappa tracksuit kind of thing, with the baseball cap, the Burberry baseball cap. They're lovingly called Neds, non-employable delinquents, which I probably was at one point as well. And then there's the people from Money, and sometimes they meet and fall in love, and it's a brilliant thing to see wealthy people and poor people coming together and the problems that causes with their parents and whatever. So yeah, this is about one particular girl who's fictional, by the way, and it's called Stockbridge Girl. Stockbridge Girl. There you go. Carrying on from that, again about Stockbridge, these streets. It's basically about my childhood growing up there, and all the people and the characters that you'd see there. A lot of famous people have lived there. Shirley Manson from Garbage. She went to my school. She was a couple of years above me, and I remember her. And who else? Robbie Coltrane, the big guy who was Hagrid in Harry Potter and appeared in James Bond films as some Russian guy, and lots of other things. He was a really funny guy. He was a stand-up comedian to start with, a good friend of Billy Connolly's, and just a lovely guy. And I bumped into him once, literally bumped into him. I was coming out of a shop all excited with a bag of candies, and he was coming in, and he was huge, even back in the early 80s, and I just went bang straight into him. I've walked into many famous people. Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, I walked straight into as a child once as well. Because all of these people come to Edinburgh. Robbie Coltrane was living in Edinburgh, but all of these people come to Edinburgh for the festival, and it's a music, like jazz rock, blues festival, classical music. There's a comedy festival. It's one of the biggest draws festivals in the world. It's well known, so you always got famous people, and it's hard not to bump into them because it's quite crowded. And if you're a kid running around, hey, bang straight into someone, and my dad went, "Do you know who that was?" I went, "No, that was Rowan Atkinson." All right. So yeah, there you go. And the Proclaimers, you'd see them walking about, the two twins with the glasses that sung "I will walk 5,000 miles." They're from near Stockbridge, and you see them walking about. And one of the main characters was an old woman called Mrs. Coots, and she had a kind of thrift shop, a bric-a-brac kind of store, and it sold like moth-eaten clothes for more old people. And I remember like speaking to her, and she'd just be sitting out on a wee stool outside her shop, and she had loads of cats. The place stank of cat's piss, and any time you went to the shop, you started itching because it was just full of fucking creatures and beasties. But she was always kind of done up in furs and whatever, and she was a lovely old character. And she died in like 1979 or something. So, I was only like 9 years old or something at the time. Gave away my age. Now, her first husband, I think, he died during the war, and he was called Doubtfire. Now, the name sounds familiar for a reason. She was Mrs. Doubtfire, or Madame Doubtfire, she was called. And there was an author, I can't remember her name, but she wrote a children's book called Madame Doubtfire. And it was turned into a film, starring Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire. So that woman, that's her. That's the original Mrs. Doubtfire. So Stockbridge is just full of all these characters and tales. You could be there all day talking about it, but again, I'm going to shut up and just play the song. This is called These Streets.
These old pavements, they've made some sounds, from the garbage to the underground, but that's alright. Yeah, that's alright. You can walk them, they'll see you right. Oh my, I think I need to see them again. Hold on, I'm coming to you. I know you're at the back of my hand. Well, I've walked these streets forever, and I know each face I see, every shop and every bar in the town. I see it in my dreams when I am far away. All of those places, they are cleaner in my blood. Oh yeah.
There was one line in there I sang, from the garbage to the underground. Garbage being a reference to Shirley Manson. It was the famous ladies of Stockbridge. The other one was Nico from the Velvet Underground. She lived there for a bit, hence why I said underground. Okay, right, moving on to the last song of disc 1 and the last song of this video. It's called The Love Again. Now, this was another song that I'd done like 3 or 4 years previously, and I needed to complete it. I was never happy with it, and now I am 99% happy with it. There's still something about it that niggles me, but I thought it was good enough now to be out in the world. It's just like removing bits of it and throwing stuff away, and probably glad I did, but still going, should I have gotten rid of that? But anyway, it's called The Love Again, and I don't think there's any particular theme to it. It's a fairly Beatley kind of vibe going on. It all sprung out of a keyboard melody that I had. There's some nice things going on, some unusual things I've not heard anywhere else. A little refrain in the bridge between choruses and verses. So take a little listen to this.
carried on by an angel, wrapped in love again. Silent tears wipe away my fears. Hold my arms out to the world. Just a little love goes a long way. And so we know the price of love. Congrats, don't worry, stay right by my side forever and ever. I'll be on your side when hope has died. Don't worry, I've got
So there you go, Love Again. Yeah, that little break. I don't know, it was like in my head, it was like Navajo. I was a big Adam and the Ants fan. I am a big Adam and the Ants fan, and their album Kings of the Wild Frontier was very kind of Native American in its approach, and I think that's maybe where that's coming from. When I'm steeped in thinking about the past and places I've lived and places I grew up, it regurgitates the music of the time as well, and it floats up to the surface and spills out into the music quite often, which I think is a great thing, keeping it alive. Anyway, that was disc 1 of the Whit album. Thanks for sticking around to the end and listening to it. If you like what you hear, like and subscribe down below, please, and I'll promise every time I make new music it comes out and I'll update you. I've still got a bunch of older ones that I need to go through and run through as well. And I've got a new album in 2025 which I'm working on the last song at the moment with Yindi. Again, love it to bits. So I'm really excited to bring you the new music. It's really fucking good, I think. So have a great day everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care everyone, bye.